Hey everyone, so today I think I'm going to do a video about my career as a repair technician. So before I talk about my career, I want to first of all tell you what a repair technician is, and then go into what are the routes that you can take to become a repair person yourself. So basically, a repair technician, whether they're like a luthier that handles string instruments or all around band instrument person uh, that does repair for almost all band instruments, or woodwind technician, um, they can be found, in their either in their own business or most commonly at music stores like Music and Arts, Samash, or smaller stores. Um, Basically, they handle and repair instruments that need to be repaired, and often they also maintain the rental fleet for places where they are employed at. So a bulk of music stores um, business is renting out instruments to students. Um, Often they will have a contract with a bunch of schools, or like a network of schools, and they'll pick up all their or like some of their instruments um, at the end of a concert season or whatever, and then repair them, and then bring them all back to, or have them pick them up, so on and so forth. So I don't know, maybe you didn't know that. Uh, but basically, um, this is an interesting career because it's you have to have a comprehensive knowledge of uh, musical instruments, tools, and I guess people, because you need to know how to accommodate your clients and customers. So anyway, sorry if that was so long, but so I'm going to kind of talk about different routes that you can take to become a repair person. So one is, I think this is what I don't know if this is most people. It's definitely a lot of people, um, and this is the surest way because I think most people can go to a school to become a musical instrument repair technician. And there are at the moment four in the United States, and I think a couple in Japan, and maybe a couple in Germany, maybe in France. I don't really know. But there's Iowa Tech. There's Renton College in Washington. There's Red Wing in Minnesota, Badger State in Wisconsin. At least those are the ones that I know about. And I find most people I meet that went to repair school, they went to Red Wing and sometimes Renton. And I think those are, seems like they produce the best techs from my experience in the encounters. Um, so basically, I think you can go to these schools for 1 to 2 years, and they just basically cram information because really to to learn how to learn an instrument, you really have to learn by doing, and you basically they do exactly that. They throw instruments at you, tell you how to do it, and you do it and do it again, do it, and you just basically go through all the band instruments. Um, and what else? And the other way, the next way you can learn to become a musical instrument tech is to work at a music store. I've heard stories of people where they started as like a cleaning person or just like a stocking person, or not, I don't know, like a front salesperson, and then one thing leads to another. They need help, and then they learn how to, they get trained and learn how to repair instruments, and maybe start with guitar and then go to saxophones and clarinets and brass instruments or whatever. That's kind of like a more organic way, and it's not always predictable which way you go because it's purely based on like needs basis. Um, so there's that, and I guess the next way is you can find a really reputable repair technician in your area or nearby area, and you can uh, apprentice with the the technician, as in you spend some time, whether it's probably not every day, maybe a couple times a week or once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month, and really shadow them, and maybe they'll have you do some work for them. But apprenticeship is usually you don't get paid to do it usually, and also for repair techs anyway, and sometimes you have to pay to do it because they are um, taking time out of their own business to train you, not necessarily for their business. So I think it's only fair that they charge something. And lastly, the last method I think I can think of was of getting into musical instrument repair is to do a combination of those other three ways: repair school, music store, or apprenticeship. So now the pros and cons, repair schools, again, I think most people can just apply and get in. I might be wrong about that, but um, anyway, but and you'll learn a lot about everything. It's probably the most comprehensive way to learn most about a lot of different instruments, but it's also probably the most expensive way to learn, to get into it. However, once you do that, especially right now and maybe a year or two ago, the demand for band instrument techs just really high. So you could really get a job like no problem, which in music business is not always the case. Um, and working at a music store is tricky because again, it's based on need basis, or it's based on need. So they're not always looking for people, and when they're looking for people, they're usually looking for, like people who went to repair school. They're not, if they can hire somebody that's already trained, that's, opportunity cost eliminated. So they don't have to spend time training you. Because sometimes what happens is that people will get trained and then they'll just leave, and basically the employer lost time and resources training you, but they're not really getting anything back. If anything, they probably lost something because they spent so much time and resources training you. So anyway, the next one, apprenticeship, is again, it's really based on the person that you are training with. So I've heard great stories and experiences, and also not so great experiences with all these, but apprenticeship also. So, but I think in the end, it really is based on, if you want to become a musical instrument, band instrument repair person, you have to look at what you want to accomplish and where you are in life, like physically, like where are you located, and also where you're in life in the respect of like how much time can you put aside to picking up this craft, because it takes a while to get competent and competitive. Um, so what I did was, oh, actually, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot. I forgot a really important way. Another way to become a repair tech. It's kind of a very different route, but it's to work at a factory that makes instruments. So in America, right now, there are, I think, the factories that actually make their own instruments. There's Conn-Selmer in Elkhart, Indiana, Fox Products in South Whitley, or just outside of South Whitley. Uh, there's Straubinger. There's a bunch of flute manufacturers in Boston area, Massachusetts, um, like Haynes and I think Powell's there. I don't really know. Uh, yeah. So what you can do is you can really start from the very bottom of the totem pole in those factories and work your way up and up to the finishing department. And with that knowledge, usually you can do, at least you can get your foot in the door to becoming a repair person. Or maybe you can work there for a couple years, few years at a factory, and then go to a music store and then get a foot in the door that way, or go to an apprentice. I mean, sorry, person who will have an apprentice. Okay, so this is getting a little long, but so that's definitely a way, and I've seen people do that. Um, but I've also seen people that go to the sorry, band instrument repair school, and then they go work at a couple factories, and then they go open up their own shop or work with somebody else, and then open up their shop. Um, but yeah, so what I did, sorry, in my path, what I've done so far is I uh, started taking some repair lessons from a reputable repair tech in New York City, and then she left New York City. So it's kind of a funny story. I went to, and I'm a professional clarinet player, and at the time I was just doing it just to do it. I wasn't really super serious about it, I don't think. Um, and I went to a music store where they had a reputable tech, and then I met the tech, and talked with him, and he repaired my instruments. I had a couple of visits with him, and then he realized I did some of my own repairs, and he actually, at the time, that store was hiring, looking for a person to uh, train to become one of their new technicians. So they asked me if I wanted to learn flute repair, which I didn't know anything about, or I didn't even play flute at the time, and I of course said yes. And so I started commuting to there. Actually, yeah, they didn't offer me a job or anything. They just asked me if I wanted to learn repair, and I said yes. So I started commuting from New York City to Jersey. Um, I think almost every day or a few times a week, to learn flute repair and some clarinet repair. And I started doing some work for them when I started becoming competent enough. And then after that, I started getting paid pretty soon after that. And then um, I started to do an apprenticeship with a well-renowned technician in that in Philadelphia. And then, so how many years is this? So 3 years in music store, and then last year I did apprenticeship, and then I got recruited at Conn-Selmer to work there, and I was there for almost a year. So, and then 4 years, um, and then now I am at Fox Products, almost done 1 year. So, and before I started working at music store, I was also doing like some repair for people, um, and so that's a little bit before. Um, so how many years is that? Like 5 or 6? I can't remember. And then the last couple, or last year actually, I started my own LLC and I have my own business, and I am doing my own repairs at home outside of work. At work, I make oboes, and at home, I mostly repair clarinets and make barrels, and so on and so forth. Um, okay, now I want to end the video with the pros and cons of this field. Is the pros are that, when you learn to repair, you really get a comprehensive knowledge of your instrument, and also I find your technique also, because you learn how your instrument works, so you kind of a lot of your what you learn in school to accommodate your instrument like really makes sense, um, or some of them don't make sense, so you do your own thing to make it make sense. And that's, learning new stuff all the time is, I think, really fun in repair. And another big pro for me is I really like talking and meeting clients and helping them and just really communicating with them. One of the things I really loved to do at the music store that I worked at was help people. Once in a while, I'll go up and help people find instruments for their kids, or I would talk to the students directly and help them find an instrument for them, for their budget and whatnot. And it was really gratifying because I used my knowledge as a long-time player, long-time teacher, and now at this point, a experienced repair technician. So it's just a really giving kind of job. Now, of course, there are cons, and one con is that repair is pretty hard on your body, and I've seen so many people in the field with various health issues, and one of the reasons why you get so many health issues is because it's a very sedentary job. You have to sit for long hours, and nitpick on like one instrument or whatever, and it can be really grueling, mentally and physically, and you just gotta be really diligent in looking after your physical health. Another big con is expenses. Repair tools are quite expensive. They're not cheap, if anything. And yeah, and to get started, you need to have at least a certain number of tools, and it adds up pretty quickly. And I think a friend of mine who started his own business right out of repair school, he said he spent like 20 grand, and I think that's pretty normal, and that's a lot. I don't, I over time for me, like I've accumulated tools, used and new, but I've definitely never been in a position where I could buy all the tools at the same time. So I would say if you're not in that financial position, then it's probably better for you to doing work for other people or doing other things all together, and collect tools and tooling like over time. What else can I talk about this? Um, yeah, but anyway, yeah, pros. I've learned to do most of my own repairs, and I saved a lot of money. But I've also spent a lot of money on my own tools and whatnot. Um, what else? So yeah, I think that's basically it for now. And I'm sure. Oh, I've also one place I forgot I worked at also is when I was working in a music store. I was also working at through the CUNY City University of New York network. I was working at Queens College, maintaining their music ed instrument rental fleet. So yeah, so at the music store, so I started repairing at all, on the clarinet, and then at the music store I learned to do flute, saxophone, and clarinet, and a tiny bit of oboe, um, and then on the job I had to learn a little bit of oboe and bassoon at Queens College, and at Conn-Selmer I did quite a bit more oboe and bassoon than before, but I was doing a lot of clarinet, um, and then and that was setting up. That was not repair usually. There are some repairs, but and then Fox, I'm doing oboe, but my main strength is clarinet. So that brings me to another point. Um, is you can most people repair not just one instrument. They do at least a few. Some people do like everything, all band instruments, and that's what these repair schools train you to do. When you apprentice with somebody, they'll usually train you in just a handful of things. Um, I apprenticed with somebody who does only clarinet. Now, you have to ask yourself, oh, you don't have to, but do you want to be a technician on just one instrument or multiple instruments or like all the instruments? For me, the way I got into this is kind of funny, and it really financially helped me through COVID and whatnot. But I'm lucky that not only did it help me out, but it was something that I became interested in organically. I didn't grow up wanting to become a repair person. It just kind of worked out this way, and I still perform, not as much as before, but right now my full time job is making oboes at Fox and repairing on the side. And what I love about my own business is I still get to have that experience of talking to my own clients, meeting new people, creating network of clients through my work and my reputation, and making my own things at home. I have a garage shop over there, and my room is the second part of my shop. Making things, experimenting, it's a lot of fun. Um, Sometimes it gets very expensive sometimes to do you know the self bit like a self-owned business thing, but yeah. So if you are looking to make a ton of money doing this, I don't think it really is that field. It is a it is a field you can get into to make a living, but not a killing. Um, but yeah. Anyway, my business is mostly clarinet repair, and at this point, and I think my clients like my work because I am a player first. And that brings me to another really important point is I think a lot of technicians think by going into I've heard people say, I'm a music ed major. It doesn't matter if I'm not the best player. I'm a repair technician. It doesn't matter. Like I don't know how to play that. It doesn't matter. And I think actually, if you flip that around, I think for me, I think my clients trust me more, and I think I am as good as I am because of my experience and knowledge, but also I have nuance and feel from playing standpoint. So I think the higher level you have, the better your work is inevitably going to be. And if I look at all the best techs that I know in not just clarinet but other instruments, I think they're all players. At least most of them are. Like um, they're all like decent or really good, like professional players. So there you go. And anyway, I hope this is valuable to some people, and I think this will be interesting to some people because I'm sure there are other people, who have been interested in getting into this field but didn't really know how to get started or whatever. If you are that person, you can leave me a comment um, below, and I'll try to answer, ask questions, you know, or you can phone up any of these schools, Iowa Tech, Renton, Red Wing, Badger State, whatever, or call up your local music stores, or talk to the best players in your area and talk to them about, hey, who's your technician, and they'll say blah blah blah, and call them up and ask them like, hey, do you want an apprentice? But anyway, good luck on your journey. So take care. Bye.